and welcome back to 10 out of 10 with Watch Again with Lauren and Russ.
Hello.
Thank you for being super sound about last week's technical difficulties.
Look, tell me the truth. Dogs ate the wires.
No, we were looking after my pal's dogs while they got married. Congratulations, Ainsley and Sean. But your dogs ate our headphones, so we had to wait and get new headsets. But we're back, and this week we are doing a Gary Oldman classic, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Now, whether you love or hate this fucking movie, I think this episode is truly for us. Like, this is not for them, this is for us.
Oh.
General overview of the movie. It's the story of Dracula with an emphasised romance. There's not like a quippy way to say it.
Yeah, if
like,
you don't know the story of Dracula, then
fuck off.
Aye, there's no point.
Yeah, how's your part of us?
So it was released in November 1992, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Obviously, it's the book from Bram Stoker's Dracula, hence the name, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Funnily enough.
Starring Gary Oldman, as we said, Anthony Hopkins, Keanu Reeves, Winona Ryder, and others hunters.
Oh, the cast is stacked.
Yeah.
Richard E. Grant, Carrie Elwes, Tom Waits, Sadie Frost, this is, we said this like when we were watching it, this is a stacked cast of like, so you've got like your top 3-4 A-listers, and then the rest is like your best of the best like C-listers, but it's great.
It's just your hammy people.
100%.
Alright, so the budget of $40 million, which equates to about 190 when we checked.
Yeah, like today, 190 million.
Yeah. And a box office of 215. I didn't bother checking what that equates to, but
made a lot of fucking money.
Made more than this money.
100%. Why do you love this film?
It's a weird movie.
Yes. Yes.
The visuals of it are weird. The acting's just fucking out there.
Yeah.
But it just works.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I don't know what more you want, right? It's like a campy, gothic, horror, romance, kind of like makeup's excellent, special effects are a Channel 5 movie. Like, yeah. I don't know what more you want. You've got the hammiest of hammy performances, and I'm supposed to sit there and not fucking love this movie.
Yeah.
I remember this is one of the ones that like I was shown young, and like I'm kind of watching it back now, I'm like, parents, what the fuck? But like there was like a whole thing about this movie. Like, I remember like my dad had like magazines when this had came out. Obviously I didn't get to watch this till like fucking years after it came out, but there was a place in town, McClellan Galleries, and they used to do these like really cool movie exhibitions. Like they did one for Aliens or Alien, whatever.
Like, I don't remember it.
It was like an alien. I know, because I asked you and you were like, I've never been to any of these, and I was like, what? So I don't know if this was just a thing that like my dad took us to.
Yeah.
But it was the alien one. You could like, you were like in the spaceship and you could like climb up, and like there was a telly on the ceiling where like the alien was coming to get you. And then they did one for this, and it was like costumes, and there was like the music and all that kind of stuff. And like I must have been wee. Like I remember being young going to the exhibitions, but Lee, confirm if this happened. But like I remember it just being really cool, and I remember this being one of those movies that I watched when I was young and not really getting it, but getting it. Do you know what I mean? Just being like really in love with like the visuals and all that kind of stuff. So like, what the fuck else do you want? Like, do you know what I mean? We tried to take a break of movies from me being like, I watched this when I was wee with my dad, but what can I say? My dad reared us on movies. Do you know what I mean? Like, right, we'll jump into thoughts and opinions.
Yeah, but I just want to start with Francis Ford Coppola.
What a guy!
Like, how his career is so bizarre. Like, you go from like obviously Godfather Part 2, considered 2 of the best movies ever made. Like Apocalypse Now, although we didn't like it too much, but it's well regarded as one of the best Vietnam movies, one of the best war movies.
Yeah.
Then you go some of his other stuff like that, Twixt, the horror movie he wrote.
Yeah, that was weird.
This is just so different for them, like from like his classics, if you will.
Mm-hmm. And now we need to wait for, is it Megalopolis?
Megalopolis,
which has been like his passion project for years.
He spent a bomb.
100%.
Like himself getting it made.
100%. And like trying to put it out, because the last I heard, he was still fighting for studios to try and put it out.
I'm sure Lionsgate.
Are they doing it?
Cool.
I don't know how. I'll go and see Megalopolis, but am I saying that right? Megalopolis,
huh?
That's what I said. I mean, I'll go see it, but I'm not like I'm going into it expecting it to be like a lot of wank. Do you know what I mean? But like, hopefully it's good. Adam Driver's always good.
But what has been shown at has had very mixed reviews.
Yeah.
But if you've spent that money, don't know if you can afford to have mixed reviews.
Yeah, I kind of want to see it to see like this has been years in the making. This is your passion project. Like, what is it?
Yeah, he's had this plan since the 70s.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
See, like, Francis Ford Coppola's one, and obviously, like, he's also went on, like, his daughters, like, she's, like, the darling of, like, indie cinema. Do you know what I mean? We didn't like Apocalypse Now, and I know that's, like, heretic to say. Do you know what I mean? Because I know that's, like, one of the movies you're supposed to love, but, like, I like Godfather 1 and 2. Godfather 3 can fuck off. But, like,
Godfather 3...
I tried to get out and they pulled me back in.
I don't think it's not a good movie. No.
Well, funnily enough, Winona Ryder was supposed to be up for the Sofia Coppola part in that movie, and she turned it down due to exhaustion. But if you look at her 90s, early 90s, late 80s track record, I'm not thinking that was exhaustion. I'm thinking that's a wee trip to the rehab, you know? As soon as a celebrity says they're going to rehab for your exhaustion, you're like, nay, bother.
I just need a kip.
I get it. But, like, yeah, he is a really hit and miss guy, but he's mad, like, from, like, all the kind of, like, books I've read on, like, kind of 70s cinema and all that kind of stuff, like, he's permo going bankrupt. Like, Zoetrope's nearly went out of business, like, so many fucking times.
Yeah, if he's wanting to make something, he will go all out.
100%.
So you have that, then obviously the story about Kevin Costner's movies, like the American Civil War epic he's making, that he's pumped all sorts of money into. And apparently that's just fucking going down like a lead balloon. You're like, God, you guys are mental.
I think that's the thing, though, is like, if you sniff your own farts enough, somebody's going to believe in your passion. Like, you're not really going to care because, like, your audience is going to go see it. How big or small? Like,
yeah, but if your audience is going to see it, is that enough to make it worth it? Because they're talking about, I think it's with Megalopolis is like 90 million or something.
Yeah.
Like, he's financed a major bulk of it.
100%.
That's a lot of moolah to be thrown about.
I do kind of back it though, Stephen. Like you're saying about Kevin Costner as well, and obviously, like, most
he's
of them,
done it himself hundreds of times, God.
Yeah, man, most of them have done it. But like, I back that they back themselves. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's shite or not, they're going to be like, "Here's my money. I'm making this film.
Yeah,
like, we're doing it." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But whether it's good or not, but I mean, I suppose like your Kevin Costner fans, your Civil War like historian buffs, like, they're gonna lap up this fucking 12-hour trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, me personally, I'll give it a miss. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't really give a fuck, but I don't have a lot of skin in the game with Kevin Costner. Like,
nah, not really bothered him.
Nah, like, I've seen enough, and I appreciate enough, but I'm not gonna be like, right, let's sit down for this like 4.5 hour fucking Civil War epic. Like, I just don't care enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, back to Dracula. This, for me, is like my tester movie, right? Like, see, because I think it was me that showed you this, like, when we started going out.
Oh, I can't remember.
Like,
I can't remember the first time I seen it. Probably would have been now.
Yeah, this, like, and like Veronica, like, when she started staying here loads, and like me and Veronica were getting super tight, I was like, sit the fuck down, doll. I've got a movie to show you. And I feel like this is one of those movies that, like, the girls that get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you're here for just a camp old time of overacting, let's do it. Like, and I also feel like this movie speaks to my love of drag, right? Because this movie is drag. The wiggery, the makeup, the costumes, the absolute, everyone's acting is at a 15.
Yeah.
Like, and it's more noticeable in this movie at the ones who are trying to, like, act. Carrie Elwes, I'm looking at you. Like, they're trying to perform. Whereas, no, this is not an actor movie.
No.
This is a, how far can we take this and go? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that choice must have been made very early, because it is a very, like, obviously it's a fantastical movie. It is larger than life. These characters, like fucking Dracula himself, Jesus Christ. If you have Gary Oldman doing that, and even in extending this, like fucking Anthony Hopkins playing Van Helsing, like, he really goes for it, and they just look. They must have had some buzz just doing this.
100%. Like, I feel like this is the kind of movie, like, you need to go for it. And I mean, we'll move on to Keanu in a minute, right? But you can kind of tell that Keanu is trying to go for it, but not really.
Yeah.
Whereas Anthony Hopkins and Gary Oldman, they fucking understood the assignment. Do you know what I mean? They were like, no danger.
Even the support, like Richard E. Grant and all that, like when Richard E. Grant's just
he is a big ham. I love him.
A less hammier version of Gary Oldman.
Yeah, I feel like Richard E. Grant is. No, I'm not saying no one takes Gary Oldman seriously, like, because of course they take him seriously. Like, he's fucking nominated as shit. But I mean, like, Richard E. Grant is more of like your theatre darling version of Gary Oldman, if you know what I mean. Like, I feel like Gary Oldman was like to Coppola, right, how far do you want me to go? And Coppola was like, as far as you want. And Gary Oldman's like, they fucking danger, big man. Like, he's holding nothing back, do you know what I mean? Which apparently led him into some sticky situations with Winona Ryder. Him and Winona Ryder did not get on making this movie. I'll get on to that a bit more in useless information, but like, they apparently really got on well during rehearsals. Like, we're having a laugh, and then something happened. Now, there's several different stories on the internet, so I'm really not sure what one's true. And they fucking hated each other. Like, fair fucks. Winona Ryder's my absolute woman, but she's my original woman. Like, before there was Florence Pugh, there was Winona Ryder. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is my ultimate woman. Yeah. And she's not great in this movie, but she gets let away with it because she's fucking Winona Ryder. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, I think obviously you have Gary Oldman fucking hamming it up, stinking the place up.
The children
fucking Anthony Hopkins as well doing it, but with Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder, like, they're so flat in this. Now, I know there's the reasons they said or that came out after it, but they're bad for a different way, and it really shows up. Yeah,
I think the two of them are like. No, Keanu Reeves' accent is fucking piping.
Winona Ryder's is as well. It's
you leave it
like, I know it's stupid, but see if you're going to have it, like, try to do English accent, just get English actors.
Yeah.
I know the star power of Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder at the time was, maybe that's kind of what brought it in, but they weren't great.
No, they're not. And I think as well, and I'm going to say it, I think Winona Ryder's performance is why Sadie Frost's Lucy does my fucking nut in, because Winona's playing it very like, oh, whereas Sadie Frost, what a pain in the arse Lucy is, do you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? And big Keanu, man, poor Keanu. Like, apparently, actually, no, I'll save that for later. But like, apparently there was like external things going on with Keanu, and he says that he's not happy with his performance because he feels like he could have done better. And I'm like,
but I don't know how we could have done better.
Now, as much as I love Keanu, and
Keanu's a legend in this one. It's like,
there will be no
Keanu. It hurts me to slag him for this role, but no, he just fucking fucked that belter.
Keanu is not an actor's actor, if you know what I mean. Keanu is like a cruise actor, if you know what I mean. So like, what I mean by that is like, Gary Oldman's an actor's actor, if you know what I mean. Like, all actors respect him, blah blah blah. Whereas, not that you don't hear that about Keanu Reeves, but like, every Keanu Reeves movie, the crew always has great things to say about Keanu. He always gets the crew the best catering. He gives them presents, like, blah blah blah. He's super sound. He's always on time. Like, he's more of like he's like a team actor, do you know what I mean? Like, he might not be like incredibly gifted in the actor sense of the word, but he's like a fucking team player, do you know what I mean? Like, he shows up, does his job, is very respectful to everyone round about, which is another reason of why you hear nothing bad about Keanu Reeves, do you know what I mean? Because he keeps the right people happy.
Yeah. I think if you give him, it sounds bad, a role where he actually has to proper act,
it's not working.
You need to have a bit of Keanu in there.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to play himself a little bit.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Keanu thrives when you give Keanu practical things to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, see if you're like, to Keanu, like, go and fucking learn how to, I don't know, motorcycle. He's away. Well, I mean, he is an avid motorcyclist, but like for John Wick, he spent months training, like, how to, like, shoot guns.
He'll go 100% into anything.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, his big ones, fucking in Bill and Ted, The Matrix, fucking John Wick. John Wick, personally, probably his best he's been in for me anyway.
Yeah.
But he really goes for it. Like, all the gun was it gun through they call it? He goes and learns.
That video of him, he like shoots all these targets point blank, like in the bullseye of the target in like 10 minutes. You're like, I need
and he does all the tries to do as much of his own stunts and all
100%.
that. Like with roles like that, yes, but this one you need to give him an accent, don't bother.
No.
What was that one we watched? That was the two lasses come to his house.
Oh my god!
And he has that accent.
Remember, but that was dreadful.
Yeah, 15 minutes we had on for us. Something.
Yep, he's got this terrible accent in it, and it's supposed to be like you think he's going to be the bad guy, but actually it's the lassies that are the bad guy. But see, be honest, I couldn't tell you how it ended because we turned it off. We were like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Because I think that one came out in between John Wick 1 and 2. So there was the Keanu hype was up there. Yeah. So we were like, yeah, fuck it, we'll watch it. And then we were like, oh, Keanu, I love you too much to sit through this. Do you know what I mean?
That accent in it though.
Oh, bad.
I don't know what the idea was. Just let Keanu be Keanu. Like, that's all you need.
Yeah. I love his, and now seeing this movie, I am a sucker for practical effects. When I watch anything that's mostly practical, 4 out of 10. I love the makeup in this movie. Like, apparently Gary Oldman was in that chair for hours.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me.
When he turns into the wolf as Dracula, when he's the fucking bat at the end, like, spoiler alert. And like he was. If
you don't know Dracula can turn into a bat, then fucking hell.
Yeah, why am I saying spoiler? The book's been out since the fucking 20s, people. There's so many renditions of Dracula at this point that if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
But like he sat in the chair for hours getting like old Dracula. He like shaved the front of his head so that his widow's peak would be like super pronounced. And I love that at least 97% of this movie is all practical effects. But you were saying he apparently wanted to do more, but they were like, oh, we don't have time. It was quite
budget
rushed.
And time constraints because he sacked. But what I read, I don't know how true it is, obviously.
No, I get it too.
He sacked the first production team because they wanted to do more digitally. He was like, no, I want the story to be told, I want it practical.
Yep.
But you can see, well, if that's true, where the time constraints and that came in, because some of it is pretty bad. The bit where they're at the theatre, the cinema tech thing.
Oh, yeah.
And he drags her along, and it just looks like they're just being pulled along.
Yeah.
The scenes where they end up going back to Dracula's castle.
And those like blue fucking circle light things.
Even at the end where they're chasing them along.
Yep.
And it just looks terrible.
Yeah, the mad taking 3-9 cuts as they're running along.
I know they tried it, but it didn't work. So it's very hit and miss. Yeah.
Do you know, I read as well, this should probably be useful information, but we're getting it here. How the bit where they've got like the shadow puppets for Prince Vlad's like fights.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be like real actors acting it out, but they ran out of time, and somebody said to Francis Ford Coppola as a joke, we'll just use shadow puppets, and he was like, great, go for it. And that's why that's in. And do you know what? It weirdly works. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do think this movie is just so fucking weird and like over the top that really they could have got away with anything. Like, see, if you didn't say time constraints and budget constraints, I'd just be sitting there like, and this movie is the way it is. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
that's
I'm not questioning
it. All adds to the charm of this movie.
Absolutely.
How kind of like hodgepodge it was put. It seems it was put together.
Oh, 100%. Like, there's full on Channel 5 effects going on in this movie, but I don't care. It just adds to the camp drag vibe of it all. Do you know what I mean?
I wonder if, because for the stuff we've watched about like 70s directors, Coppola seems to do this with a lot of his movies.
Yeah.
Like arguing with the studios and all that. Like, was it Godfather he was arguing with them?
Yep, because they didn't want Al Pacino, and he was like, if you don't give me Al Pacino, we're not making this film. And thank fuck they did, by the way.
Then Apocalypse Now is famous for it as well.
We watched that Heart
of Darkness that was just a shambles for the beginning.
It's just him just screaming at everybody. Yeah. Do you know what? I know we said a couple of weeks ago we would never do like Godfather and Pulp Fiction and all that shit because there's tons of episodes, but like I've actually had some people being like, I want to hear your take. Like, it would be really funny the way you guys do it. Please do Godfather. So I'm like, possibly. But also, it's just an excuse for us to watch Godfather. But possibly, I'm not promising anything. People promise.
Even just a trilogy one.
Like another overview. But let's just not talk about Godfather 3.
Oh, we can slag fucking it.
And they pull me back in.
Just slag fucking it. Fucking play your shite at us.
Perfect. I will always have time for any iteration of Dracula, any vampire movie in general. I'm a vampire girly. I'm not really a werewolf gal. I'm not really an aliens gal. I'm a vampire girly, and I will always have any time. How shite it is, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? And I think, honestly, between the two of us, we've watched so many fucking Dracula movies.
Oh, most of them,
and like any kind of Dracula movie coming out, you and me are like, yes. Like Nosferatu that's coming out this year, but I know that's not technically a Dracula movie, but it basically fucking is. I'm in. I'm sat.
It's vampire Dracula, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sat. I'm in. But that last voyage of the Demeter, whatever. I had such high hopes for that movie, and I went into that movie being like, this is going to be great. Like, you never really see movies about this part. Like, this part is such a quick bit in the book and such a quick bit in the films that you're like, okay, cool, like, no bother. So I was like, oh, this will be cool as fuck. And I remember, like, you, me, and Veronica watched it, and I was like, this is fine. This movie's okay. And then you turned around and was like, Lauren, this is shit. And Veronica was like, no, Lauren, it is shit. And I was like, fine, guys, you've ruined it. Like, I really wanted to like it. And then as soon as you were like, this is shit, I was like, no, you're absolutely correct. This is pish.
See, I've got a bit here about that, about the general decline in the quality of these movies.
Yes.
So obviously, Voyage of the Last Demeter was a good premise. Could have been good, like them trapped there.
And the cast was good.
Yeah, but for some, I know that had a lot of issues. I think with filming or release anyway.
You'd said that, they kept pushing it back and stuff. And I always feel like, see, when things get pushed back or there's like studio arguments, you're like, oh, they really don't want to bring this film out. Yeah.
That, you have Abigail, again, good idea, but wasn't done well. I think it got too convoluted near the end.
I think Abigail would have been good if they From Dusk Till Dawn it, right? I know obviously you understand what Dusk Till Dawn is just by the fucking title, but like the way Dusk Till Dawn does it is like, right, okay, this is 2 bank robbers and we're trying to escape and we're going to sit here before we go to Mexico, and then boof.
That's it. It just turns into a different movie. Perfect. But with this, it kind of gives it away.
But I think it tried. The trailer
gave it away, so there was no point. You're not surprised then. What's the point?
Totally. But you can tell from the start of Abigail that they wanted to make this like a taken hostage situation, and then they just fucked it. Yeah. Like, we all knew what was coming. Therefore, the campy. I mean, see, be honest, Abigail was shit, but I still quite liked it because it was just camp. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just, So
that, then, The Invitation, that was shite. Straight up shite.
Ross. Right, backstory of The Invitation before we go any further, right? Me and Ross, I really, really, really wanted to go see this in the cinema, right? And you were like, I don't want to go. And then we went, and it literally sold 5 tickets in the cinema, to the fact where they gave us a refund of free, well, not a refund, they exchanged it for free it was either,
no, they refunded us, then gave us free tickets.
That was it. That was it, because it was either take a refund or go see the Idris Elba fights a lion movie, and we were like, fuck that.
We're cool.
So they gave us a full refund of our money plus free cinema tickets, because it was literally you and me and those like 4 other guys that had bought tickets, and they were like, this is not enough. So then when The Invitation came out on Netflix, I was like, perfect, Ross. Oh my god, that was awful.
Yeah,
it was
shit.
Awful.
So I've got a theory why it's bad, but I want to hear your opinion on why do you think they don't do well anymore?
I think okay, I think a lot of oh, you've got me.
I got you stumped. Get him. Oh, get him.
Oh, get him.
Go on, get.
I think that the movies you've just described, The Invitation, Abigail, Last Voyage of Demeter, right? They all tried to go down the kind of gothic horror fantasy route. Like, The Invitation is all very like grand castles and grand costumes. Same with Abigail. Abigail tried to go down not exactly the gothic horror, but more of like the campy horror and stuff. And I think there is, when you introduce vampires into things, there is that kind of risk of it just becoming like blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? But you do get some really good, like it or not, I personally like it. See that interview with a vampire TV show? Great, perfect, love it. They do it right because they understand, like, the general vibe of vampires is like rich elegance, like mixed in with that like decay and rot and all that kind of thing. Like, I I think these movies aren't doing well as well because I think there's been too many. Right now, the vibe I get from the cinema, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, I think the general public are kind of over the super fantastical shit because we've been really saturated with like superheroes and all that kind of stuff. Now, that's not me slagging because I fucking love Marvel and Batman and all that good stuff. But I think there's been a real oversaturation of like fantastical shit that right now it's all the movies that are doing really well are like your kind of action movies or your like true to life ones. And yeah, I say that, but Twisters is fucking doing a bomb. But you know what I mean? This is all kind of real things that's going on.
No, I get you.
And I wonder if people are kind of tired of the trope of like, oh, there's a vampire, it's probably going to be shite. Yeah. But it's like, no, it doesn't have to be. It can be so good. BBC's guilty of that though. Like, the BBC always like that BBC version of Dracula
where Christmas time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
a couple years ago.
The first like 2 episodes were really good, and then it throws Dracula into modern times, and it's like, I don't want that.
Yeah, we've seen it too many times with the BBC.
I don't want that. But I'm a fan of basically if anything's got a vampire in it, I'll fucking watch it, shite or not. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I hit on what you wanted me to say.
No, I was just wanting your opinion. You can say what you want, but I was thinking more that. I mean, you had the Twilight movies, obviously the ones I've just mentioned in the past 5 years, whatever, give or take, right? But, so you had them, like, basically rammed down your throat.
The Twilight movies were my fucking teenage years, Ross, and you better watch your mouth.
So, but with that, you had, like, the TV shows, like the teen vampire stuff and all that. Yeah,
like Teen Wolf and shit, True Blood was a thing.
Yes,
I love True Blood.
Even like that, fuck, the one we watched. Vampire Diaries. You hardly see any good ones there because looking back through the list, the only one I can think we've watched that's been fantastic is
the
Mike Flanagan one.
Oh, Midnight Mass.
Yes. And that wasn't even really because of him. It's that the story.
And that wasn't even like that wasn't a vampire thing, if you know what I mean. Like it is a vampire thing, but it wasn't like sold as a vampire thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we've been hit with it too much and they've all followed the same route.
Yeah.
I mean, Voyager Last Meter.
I was only going off the last wee while. See if you'd have let me spend 10 minutes talking about Twilight, or you know I'd have fucking done it.
But I think that, because obviously that was a major success, then the TV shows and that have to, like, they all follow the same pattern.
There was loads of them, around the Twilight era. Like, basically everything was like, how many vampires and werewolves can you shove into things? Do you know what I mean? Like, True Blood was good. True Blood was more like your adult vampire thing where there was just loads of shagging. Like,
but that then, as I said, I checked back a list of the 2020s.
Not barely anything.
Midnight Mass is the only one. But
Midnight Mass was class.
Yeah, that was a vampire TV show, but because you had more of the stories in it, which Mike Flanagan he's not made a bad thing yet. So
we love him. We love him in this house. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you. Yeah, probably like we were pretty oversaturated with them as teenagers because Twilight came out when we peaked. Do you know what I mean? Like we were like 13, 14 when Twilight came out, and that was my whole fucking teenage years. Yeah. Even to this day, if someone goes to a Twilight marathon, I'm like, sign me the fuck up. Where are we going? But like, yeah, I get you. Like, obviously, like. It was a lot that probably loads of people are like, oh no, fuck that, man, I can't be arsed. But like, whereas I'm like, when can I get the tickets?
They'll just try to follow the same formula, like falls in love with, like, so obviously it's not Dracula, but the vampire falls in love with a human.
A werewolf pops up, or some other
they need to deal with all this shit. Whereas, the Midnight Mass, totally different.
Yep.
But then the comedy stuff and that, it comes out like the parodies and shit.
Vampire Kills, remember that?
Yeah.
Was that what it's called? No, it was Love Sucks or something. Vampire Sucks. That's it. That was terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty, like, just lazy. It gets lazy. I think everyone, even with the superhero stuff now, it's just lazy.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, they all kind of just follow the same path because, like, 10 years ago, they made $1 bajillion. There's no need for it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think Abigail really annoyed me because I liked Abigail because it was camp as shit. Like, and that like Dan Stevens in that movie was just like, "What do you want to do? Let's go." Do you know what I mean? But I feel like that movie could have been so cool if they'd From Dusk Till Dawned it. Do you know what I mean? If they had really sold it as like a Taken film. But then I suppose I don't know if I don't know if Adam. Actually, no, I'm telling a fucking lie. I still watched it if they'd sold it as a taken movie. But like, do you remember like when they advertised The Orphan and it was like, you'll never guess her secret?
Yeah.
Do something like that. Do you know what I mean? Rather than like in the trailer, oh my fucking god, she's a vampire. You've just gave away the whole twist of your movie.
I think that's the problem. Nobody would have nowadays. You need to tell people the main gist of the story now before they go and see it.
Yeah.
They're that fickle. And with internet anyway, as soon as one person sees that,
it's getting spoiled.
They're probably, if they get spoiled for, you're more or less likely to go and see it.
Oh, because we're behind on House of the Dragon and I've been dodging spoilers left, right and centre. I think as well they're guilty of these days. Whereas this movie, let's close the loop, let's circle back. Whereas this movie very much sticks to that like Victorian era, the Bram Stoker era of like proper vampires.
He tried to make it as faithful an adaptation as he could.
Exactly, and like everyone looks great and it gets its nice creepy bits. Whereas I do think right now, looking at you, BBC, they want to put these like fantastical creatures in like modern times, and it's like, what do you mean Dracula doesn't know how to work a phone? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, fuck off. Like, the trope's getting old. Like, I'm all for seeing vampires in modern day, but I don't need that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like this movie.
It's been done to death now.
Exactly. The interview with a vampire movie, I can take or leave. That is camp.
Yeah.
That is drag. But the TV show I really like because they kind of stick to their era and it's all very, do you know what I mean? Keep my vampires gothic and campy. See when in this film, because obviously we were talking about the makeup and stuff earlier on and how effective it is and like all the practical effects and stuff. See Dracula is when he turns into the wolf, when he's like trying to, that thing horrified me. Now I'm terrified of wolves and there's too many wolves in this movie for my liking, do you know what I mean? But see when Dracula does it, I remember Lee had like a postcard of this in our hall. And like whenever you would go to the toilet in Lee's house, like the whole light would be off, and I would just see these two wee eyes, and I was like, no, like. Right, we'll jump into. So we've done we've off book, and we're gonna put down because obviously we've just been talking a lot about vampire and Dracula iterations. We've put down. We've not told each other what we've got. Top 5 Dracula performances. You can go first.
Right. So for my first one, it's obviously Bela Lugosi. 1931 Dracula, probably the most memorable one.
Yeah. Aye, absolutely. You do Dracula face daily.
Oh, I do it when I'm sitting on the bus looking at people.
Yeah. Remember you made that wee lassie cry?
Yeah, that wasn't. I'm sorry for that.
You bitch.
So that number 2 is Christopher Lee.
Absolutely. I had him as my number 2.
I mean, it's not even that. He's played the cunt like over 10 times.
Yeah.
Like he was your, like he I think it's 7 out of 10 of them was Hammer horror, so he was your.
He's your man.
Dracula.
Aye. I think he was the first Dracula I saw. And it was very effective. Do you know what I mean? Like,
a shout out to who was the Spanish guy when they were filming the 1931 Dracula, and they would do it at night.
I don't know why the fuck you're asking me. What an obscure fact.
Because they would do the English version for Dracula, Bela Lugosi,
right? And
they would have another cunt come in doing a Spanish version. Like, so when they were off set that day, like finished for the day, that whole our team would come in and basically use the same set. I'm sure I read that somewhere. That was fucking brilliant. Like, shout out to him. He's basically made the same movie as Bela Lugosi, except made it Spanish.
That is the most obscure thing that's ever came out.
Oh, it's brilliant. Number 3, Gary Oldman.
Obviously, the children.
I was going to put him 1, but can't he? No way, fucking Big Lugosi there.
Aye, fair.
Number 4, Richard Roxburgh and Van Helsing.
Bastard, I had him in my fucking list as well. Van Helsing is so
that's
class.
Just because I love the movie.
Aye, it's pure shite, but pure great.
Yeah, and Nicolas Cage and Renfield.
Oh, you've gone recent.
Just Nicolas Cage, fucking legend.
Renfield got really dodgy reviews. I liked it.
I thought it was good,
I feel like they just let Nicolas Cage do Nicolas Cage. Do you know what I mean? They were like... So I've got most of the same as you, to be honest. Again, that one brain cell. I also wanted to give a shout out to Adam Sandler in Hotel Transylvania, just purely because of how much I watched this with my niece when she was wee. Like, she loved it.
Oh, I remember.
And so shout out to Adam Sandler for introducing my niece to Dracula. I also had Richard Roxburgh. He was like, Van Helsing is not great. but it's
It's
so
a fucking
great.
fantastic movie.
Like the Dracula brides in Van Helsing. It's like, what is it? You can go when I say you can go, and I say you can go when you're dead. Like what? Gary Oldman, obviously, what a guy. Absolutely no award goes to Gerard fucking Butler. Because
the sequel to this one, Dracula 2?
Dracula 3000 it's called, mate. Dracula 3000.
Was there not a Dracula 2?
What do you mean Dracula 2?
Like,
how many more, like, the cunt's immortal, do you know what I mean? Like,
a Dracula 2 Ascension?
I always thought Gerard Butler was in Dracula 3000.
No, he was.
Oh, he was.
It was Dracula 2000 he was in.
Oh, okay.
But there was a Dracula 2.
Oh, Christ. Does that mean we're watching that tonight?
Oh, fuck.
I have, like, personal beef with Gerard Butler, do you know what I mean? So, like, I'm not going to run to the cinema to see Gerard Butler, like, but fuck you for being shy at Dracula. And also, but, like, shout out to your man from Prison Break who was Dracula in Blade.
Yeah.
Like,
Blade.
terrible, but great, do you know what I mean? I think it'll be interesting to see how Bill Skarsgård ranks after we see Nosferatu. I know we're not getting that until, like, November, but I have full hopes that the Skarsgård's going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
I'll sit through anything he's in, not only because he is beautiful, but because he's just so good. Like, I've not seen Bill Skarsgård miss once.
No.
Although I feel like he might in this new Crow, but that's because the original Crow can never be topped in my eyes. Nah. Basically, if you give me a mad 90s goth movie, I'm in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, quite right.
Do you want to jump into favourite scene?
Aye, go for it. What have you got?
I'm taking it. Right, so my favourite scene is the start. Like, just that whole start bit with, like, old Dracula and Jonathan. Just like Gary Oldman cook. Like, see when the statues, like, try to square go Jonathan and, like, Dracula's hitting out just pish patter and the statues like that back. So good. And then, like, when Jonathan's, like, shaving and the mirror cracks and then Dracula's, like, sucking the razor. Incredible Gary Oldman. Like, just keep going. Like, I could watch this for, like, do you know what I mean? But also shout out to my favourite line delivery from Keanu Reeves, but it's later on in the film, where he goes, "I know where the bastard sleeps," and it's like,
that really cements his performance, doesn't it?
Like, did nobody go, do I try that again, Keanu? No, like,
I can imagine Coppola sitting there saying, right, you need to do the line. Then he does it. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. But they've ran out of film that day, so I was like, well, that's what it is.
How was that? He said, brilliant. Like, keep it in. I don't care. Had enough.
What have you got?
I've got the crypt scene where they kill Lucy.
Ugh, yeah, just get her. Fuck.
It's not even that, is it? So that's one of the most memorable scenes in most of the, like, all the Dracula book adaptations.
Yeah.
And I think she does. She looks scary.
Yeah,
like, man. She looks cool as fuck.
The
like,
costume's
all done
cool
up.
as fuck. Yeah. And, like, I like the pure screaming Wayne, and they're all pure like, like, class.
I think that's where they kind of changed it, because in the original, that's where it ends, doesn't it? Like, they just fucking take him and get fucked. Like, job done, boys.
Aye, woo.
Aye, easy does it.
All the time for dinner.
Aye, came for tea.
Have you got anything? Do you want me to dive into use information?
Aye, go for it. I can only have one favourite scene, so.
That's it. Well, I added in favourite line delivery, because I'm more dedicated. Right, I'll dive into use information and you can chime in with me. So, Coppola didn't use any digital special effects software, used mostly practical effects with the walls and the floors on pulleys to make everything as real as possible, and even consulted magicians on their art of illusion. He also came up with the idea that when being in the presence of a vampire as powerful as Dracula, the laws of physics would bend. So this is why, like, shadows are, like, going in ways that shadows shouldn't. I mean, I don't mean, like, moving about. I mean, like, they get, like, smaller and bigger even though you're standing in the same place. And, like, water drips up the way in the mental asylum. And, like, the rats are running on the ceiling and stuff like that, which I thought was pretty cool. So, again, Gary Oldman and Winona Ryder, great friends during rehearsals. And then after a break, when they came back for filming, they fucking hated each other. Like, apart from when they were on scenes together, they were not hanging about on set. So, one story is that Gary Oldman played a practical joke on Winona Ryder. Apparently, when it's young Dracula and Winona Ryder sees him for the first time, she was supposed to have a bit more of like a like kind of expression, and Coppola wasn't getting what he wanted. So Gary Oldman put like a courgette in his trousers and like had it flopping out so that Winona Ryder would turn around and be like, like, do you know what I mean?
Right.
And apparently she did not like that at all. She was young. She was like in her early 20s. She might have been a bit full of herself, but apparently she did not like that at all, if that story's true. Another story is that Winona Ryder called Gary Oldman dangerous. She said his acting style was so unpredictable and she didn't feel safe with him on set. And apparently Gary Oldman was really upset by that.
What, was he going to like shank her or something? Like he's dedicated to his craft, but
he's not going to stab you with it. Yeah.
Like compare this to some other roles he's played, is it? He's not that bad. Like he's played crazier in others. Like
we fucking watched Leon. I think I mean, there's loads of different stories, and there's like interviews with Winona Ryder where she's came out and said, "Oh, we're great pals now," and it's like this seems to be a thing where actors need you to believe that they're all pals. Like, I don't care if he's our pals. Like, he's were in a movie like 30 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
It's just all bum each other up because they don't want to seem as if any of them are difficult to work with.
Yeah, 100%. I
mean, I think Gary Oldman's recovered for Winona Ryder hating him.
Yeah, like, I don't think it's affected his career.
I think Gary Oldman's done alright for himself.
100%. See, if you think about it though, there really is a Gary Oldman performance for like every generation. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously there's all of his older stuff. Then for like, probably for us, it's like Harry Potter, Batman. Do you know what I mean? Like that was our thing. And then obviously you've gone back and seen more Gary Oldman, and then like. Now he does like loads of voiceovers, so like kids are getting used to him. Do you know what I mean? So there's a Gary Oldman for every generation. And what more do you want as an actor? Do you know what I mean? I'd want that.
Class. Like, you can't really describe. He's just a class act.
Even if the movies, 100%. Even if the movie's shit, he's never shit. Do you know what I mean?
He's never the reason.
Yeah, like I'm not saying Mank was shit. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but he was great. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Anyway, so when Prince Vlad is stabbed with a sword, the scream is not Gary Oldman's voice. It's actually Lux Interior, the lead singer of the Cramps, because they needed it to be like really high and sharp. I was like, go on yourself. So this story kind of got out recently during a Keanu Reeves interview. So when Mina and Jonathan get married... Still game there. When Mina and Jonathan get married, the original scene didn't work, so they had to go back and reshoot it. So they shot it in a Greek Orthodox church. So Keanu Reeves had came out recently in an interview and said that him and Winona Ryder, for all they're not legally married, in the eyes of God, they've been married for like 15 years. And everyone was really like, I don't know,
some Romanian priest or something. Like they brought in an official Romanian priest.
Like, it was a proper
proper wedding.
The book, proper wedding. So in the eyes of God, they have been in a really long marriage. Also, one of Dracula's wives is played by Monica Bellucci, who Keanu Reeves would later go on to shoot in the John Wick films.
Fair enough. Full circle,
listen, we're all just part of the Keanu Reeves-averse, you know? When Keanu Reeves is shaving in the castle, when like the mirror smashes and all that, the interior walls were pulled to move inwards by a pulley to create this like claustrophobic and unnerving atmosphere, and I was like, class. Like, so good.
The effort that Coppola and his team go through, like,
do you know what I mean?
It's insane. Just daft things like that, and you're like, God, that works so well.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's ways to do it with like the way like Scorsese does it, where he like like zooms out as the camera moves in, kind of thing. There's ways to do it like that, but Coppola's just like, nope, we're gonna do it this way. We're gonna do it as practical as fuck. Yeah.
Simple,
minimal fanning about.
Simple things they do, and it's like you don't know you're really feeling it. Then it's like you have this unnerving thing. You're like, but that's just something so simple as that. And you're like,
Totally. Which is why the man's always bankrupt, do you know what I mean? Because he's like, we're going to do this.
It takes you about 50 years to make a movie.
100%. Also, during the exact same scene where Oldman licks the blood off Keanu, Gary Oldman was actually pissed during this scene. They filmed it after midnight. Coppola came out and said, oh yeah, I filmed most of the scenes after midnight to give it that eerie feeling, but apparently it was just delays and like setting up of like the sound stages. Most of the actors had went for dinner and had a tipple, and Gary Oldman may or may not have taken that a bit too far and was pissed. And so like when he's like sitting licking it and just being like, you're like, oh, there he is, humming a rum. The music for this movie obviously is class. and it's been used and referenced countless times, specifically recently in American Horror Story. They used it in the first season, and then they've kind of went on to use it.
Decent.
Again, back to Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves says he's not happy with his performance in this movie because he made several movies back to back and said that he was exhausted and didn't feel that he met the bar that was set by the other actors. Now, I went back and had a look because I was like, Keanu, shut the fuck up, right? To be fair, like, so this movie came out in 92, so I was kind of only looking at like 90 and 91, right? And you had Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, so like the second one, Point Break, and My Own Private Idaho. I've never seen My Own Private Idaho, but that gets like pure rave reviews. So I get it. I get being tired. But then it's not like he fucking stopped. Like, after this, he goes on. Like, Speed came out like 8 months after this film. Do you know what I mean? It's like, sit down. Do you know what I mean? Like, chill. So I'll move. My favourite part of this information was who should have been in it, right? So Johnny Depp was up for the role of Jonathan Harker. I know.
And for other reasons other than he wouldn't have suited the movie.
Yeah, I know.
There's a reason Winona Ryder ended up going after that.
Yep.
That would have been fucking hilarious.
Apparently that's why he didn't get it. Because I think
him the breakup, wasn't it?
Yeah, him and Winona broke up by this point, and basically like she brought this script to Coppola because as like a sorry for not being in Godfather 3.
Godfather 3, yeah.
Because she let him down for Godfather 3. She brought him this script, and there was, I can't remember the guy's name, who was originally supposed to direct it, and Coppola was like, no, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So the guy who was originally supposed to direct it went on to be like a producer, but she basically brought this to him and like helped him cast this movie. Like, this movie is very centered around Winona Ryder, do you know what I mean? So I think when Johnny Depp was up for it, Winona's like, nope, absolutely fucking not. No for me. And Drew Barrymore was also considered for Mina Harker, but then Winona Ryder was like, no, I'm taking it.
I can do an English accent. No,
can you? I don't really know if Drew Barrymore can do an English accent, to be fair. Steve Buscemi turned down playing Renfield, went to Tom Waits.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know.
He'd have been good. I'd have liked to see that.
And Liam Neeson was considered for Van Helsing. But basically he didn't get it because Anthony Hopkins was like, why am I not in your film? And Coppola was like, my fucking apologies, big man, here's Van Helsing.
Only Liam if he does a really thick Irish accent.
Oh, absolutely. None of this mad, crazy German one that Anthony Hopkins is doing.
Just as Irish you can.
Do you want to know who was up for Dracula?
Who?
Right. Antonio Banderas.
God.
Who obviously then went on to be Armand in Interview with a Vampire. Yeah. Gabriel fucking Byrne.
Of course he was.
Viggo Mortensen.
No, I can see that.
Andy Garcia, but Andy Garcia said he didn't want to do it because he wasn't comfortable with he said he wasn't comfortable with the sex scenes, but there's not really there's sexy scenes, sexual tension scenes, but there's not really like full blown like sex.
You're not.
But Andy Garcia, he was like, no, I'm alright. And an actor called Armand Assante, who I have no clue. I'll look up what he's been in.
Fair enough. Oh, that's still what got me with Steve Buscemi.
I know.
Like, I'd have been good.
Armand Assante was in the Gotti movie in 96. The Stallone Judge Dredd.
I know who he is.
With Demi. I don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah, I've seen him and shit.
I don't think I'm looking at his face right now. I don't. Oh, okay. No, I take it back. See, now I'm looking at him younger. I'm like, I know who you are. Yeah. Cool. But like, Gary Oldman's really the only fucking choice, isn't he? Like, I would love to have seen Gabriel Byrne as Dracula. Like, I know
He's fucking played everything else.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
might as well give him a chance.
I like what I don't know if I could see Antonio Banderas doing it because, like, I don't think the Spanish accent could translate. And in
I mean, I don't even know what the fucking Gary Oldman's accent is in this.
Well, true. But in the early 90s, like, Antonio Banderas was, like, Spanish as fuck. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know, obviously, like, he goes back and does Spanish movies and things, but, like, this was when he spoke English, you were like, excuse me,
what you doing?
Come again. So, yeah, that's all my useless information.
Fantastic.
I fucking jammed quite a lot in there, a lot of Keanu Reeves shit.
Good stuff.
Right, now we will jump into E. And some of my E's are you're stupid, but we'll go with it. You go first.
So I've got here, how quickly would you get the fuck out that castle if you were like Jonathan Harker just getting there?
Yeah, fuck off. Like the moment you get there and the carriage guy just grabs you by the shoulder and you fly into the fucking thing. Like, nah, fuck that. Absolutely not. Yeah, the second I got out the carriage and the villagers are like, no, please, no.
Yeah, I would just walk home.
Yeah,
but I'm going.
Bye. Yeah, I'll go back to England.
6-week journey, I'm off.
Isn't it? See, even now, this is stupid because it's not really an A because it's part of the Dracula lore, right? So when his missus dies and he stabs the cross, renounces God, why is your first action to drink the blood coming out of the cross? Like, see, if I was to stab a cross and it started bleeding, I would shit to myself. Like, renouncing God or not, fuck off. Do you know what I mean?
Does God curse him though?
I feel like this is just a general, maybe everyone take 5 moment. Do you know what I mean?
Why would that turn you into a vampire? I renounce my faith, stabs the cross. Like, is it that simple?
Well, vampires supposed to be like part demon, isn't it? Like they're from, like it's the demon that makes you need to drink blood all the time.
But then, what if he said, "Oh, I found my faith again"?
Like
God, reverse everything.
What, like 300 years later, just being like, listen, by the way, God, I've made a mistake there.
Yeah, I realised the errors in my way.
Yeah.
Aye, it's just stupid. Like, obviously.
But I didn't want it. I know I did it in 80, but I didn't know if it would count because obviously that is Dracula lore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, like, especially in this movie because Gary Oldman's just like, it's like, everyone take 5. Like, let's take a wee breather. Like, this is okay.
Like, going off of Dracula lore, Van Helsing knows a lot about the vampire, right?
Yeah.
The vampire. How the fuck does everybody else get on board with him so quickly?
Oh my god, yeah. Like, could you imagine just up here random ass, like, your pals, like, what, because he's, Richard E. Grant's, like, tutor, isn't he? Like,
I was his mentor.
Aye, so, like, Richard E. Grant brings him in and is like, by the way, your man's saying, and he just hits out with it immediately. He's like, she's going to want the blood, and there is the garlic, and blah blah blah. And everyone's like, I need a crack on. What? Like, fuck right off.
Is it ideal blood transfusions? Is it? Do you know how to do it yet? Is it done it on dogs? Is it? Fuck off.
Sorry, yeah. Van Helsing's on crack this whole movie. Like, I'm in.
Oh, he is. He's like, oh, there's demons in your blood. Let's do heroin. Sound mate. Let's do it.
They see Victorian medicine, man. Like, they're fucking nuts.
Just get out your nut as much as you can.
100%. Yeah. Like, all Victorian, like, ails used to seem to be solved by morphine. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how they're all just out their tits. Speaking of Victorians, I'm sure, now, correct me on my horrible history's knowledge, right? But was it not a thing in Victorian times that women, married or not, had to be out with a chaperone? Now, Mina Harker is not married to Jonathan at this point, and she's cutting about with young Dracula, the prince, and it's like, did nobody, like, he's like dropping her off at the door, then away on wee absinthe dates, cinema dates, nipping every 2 minutes. He's like turning her tears into diamonds. Nobody said a fucking word. No, she was just allowed to gallivant.
Yeah, but what are they going to say to her?
You can't go out without a chaperone. That's the point.
But what's going to happen? They go to jail or something?
Well, no, but like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? I don't know, maybe we'll try and palm it off as in like Dracula's like hypnotised them out to be like, give her to me. Do you know what I mean?
I think she can do what the fuck she wants. I mean, as far as she's aware, she's a single woman.
Yeah. In this day and age, Ross, single women can get away with whatever the fuck they like. In the Victorian ages, you were seen as like a fucking harlot if you went to the shop on your own. Do you know what I mean?
Good thing this was the made the Victorian ages, then. Fuck's sake.
Showing up an ankle. Bitch.
Harlot.
Also, this movie makes absinthe seem like a seductive good old time. And do you remember that time we drank absinthe, Ross?
Aye.
And I lost a fucking shoe. I do not remember that night, but I know that I had just bought those fucking shoes and I lost one. And to this day, we don't know where the fuck I left it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But like, they make absinthe seem like a great old time, and I just remember losing time and a shoe. So they're talking shite.
Yeah. Hardly are people back then. So this one's a bit weird for me, right?
Okay.
See when Jonathan writes a letter, or it's one of his diary entries, obviously the book's all diary entries, so they try and convey that, and he says that he's been sucked dry off Dracula's brides. Takes me a while, didn't he was enjoying that, I think. Now, imagine I get weeked away with Dracula's bride, right? And I write your letter saying, I'm getting stuck dry, and you see him, and it's Monica Bellucci, and you're like, Ross, come on, you should have been here a week ago, mate. Come on. I clocked like, oh my God, Ross, you alright? Clocking the I ain't bothering you dirty hood. Like, he just waits until, you know what, I need to go home now, and he fucks off right off that castle. That's how he's got white hair. You're like looking at Dracula's wives and you're like, they're all fucking stunning. Were you chained up? No, they just had me lying in a bed. And you couldn't, there was no, I could have got up at any point, but you know, like, they just kind of kept me down, did they? Aye. Like, I think he knew you that. You couldn't have tried a ball hair harder to get him. I think he knew Dracula was having a ride at Mina. Aye. So he's like, you know what? I'm pumping your wives. Aye. Aye, honestly, I feel he could have got him about a month earlier. I'm going to call bullshit on that one. 100%. You were having too much a good time, Jonathan. Yeah, you're enjoying yourself a bit much, I can't. Do you know, see when you were like, he comes back with the white hair, right? Suck this all out. Right. Wait. I understand that Keanu's hair is supposed to be white because obviously he's been almost drained of blood. It's supposed to be, well, shagged to death. And like your hair's supposed to turn white when you're terrified, right? But when he comes back and marries Mina, it's like salt and pepper, right? And then when he sees young Dracula in London, that thing is platinum white. Yeah. Like, you are paying hairdressers hundreds of pounds to get your hair that fucking white. Do you know what I mean? Like, scare the shit out of me, Dracula. You'll save me some fucking money. Quite right. Do you think as well it was a director's note to make all the men in this movie super lechy? Like, Anthony Hopkins Van Helsing needs to get his bobby back in his trousers, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's all over the shop. And the three of them that are bouncing about, so obviously you've got Lucy, we never even got into that in Thoughts and Opinions, like Lucy and our mad three men, and they're all just like pure blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone rein it in. Aye. I know it's supposed to be like a gothic erotic thriller, but like, calm the erotica down a bit, you know? Aye, no need for it, Lucy. Do you know what I mean? Calm yourself. Have you got anything else? No, that's it. I know. See, all our A's are just fucking stupid A's. That's the whole point. Okay, who's your worst guy whose hairline's just eaten? Got Lucy. I've got Lucy too. She's just very irritating. Yeah. And just every time she's on the screen, you're like, oh, fucking shut up. Yeah, there's like a bit in the middle where like, and I understand that Lucy's bit is a big bit in the book, but it goes on a bit long, doesn't it? It goes on a bit long. And obviously she's got our three men chasing after her. So you've got Richard E. Grant, who runs the mental asylum, Carrie Elways, who, what the fuck's he supposed to be, like a duke of some sort? Who gives a fuck? Yeah, and then you've got Billy Campbell, who plays Jack, who's like a rootin' tootin' cowboy. Yeah. And like, no one is hornier than Lucy other than like prepubescent boys. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, Ross, for coming for your gender, right? Like, every sentence she says is pure like, and it's like, try calm down then. Like, that was an acting choice. You know what I mean? Like, you are literally just saying good morning, right? Yeah. Like, I understand obviously when she's under the thrall of Dracula, like obviously she's going to be pure like, oh, I've been seduced, but like, you're just saying good morning. Do you know what I mean? Like, stop coming in your pants. Like, rein it in. Like, she's a fucking pain in the arse, man. So what about different movie? Who have you got? So I've got Billy Campbell, who plays Jack. He's in an Amdram production of like Calamity Jane or something. Like, he's in Blazing Saddles or something. Like, no one's running about being like, oh, my girl, like, do you know what I mean? Shut the fuck up. Who have you got? I've got Keanu Reeves. And it's not even that he's in a different, I just don't think he knows he's in a movie. Right, okay. Like, he is confused this whole movie. Well, he's tired, and he said he was exhausted. Aye, but he's a tired boy. Don't accept the roles in. Keanu's tired. Like, there's no excuse for it. You know what? See, after I read that he was exhausted, watching his performance makes so much sense, because he's just like, fuck it, you're getting 2 takes out of me, and then I'm going to my fucking bed. He's gone for the fucking... the Bill and Ted, like, fucking Gormless Stoner look. Like excellent. Aye, like, that's it. It's most bizarre performance I've ever seen from him.
Fucking love Bill and Ted, man. Do you have any I'm outs?
No, but I feel the movie it's a bit long, like over 2 hours. There is bits where you're like, we don't need this.
Yeah, I literally said the same. Like, there's not any particular bits that I'm out apart from some of the Lucy bits, but you could definitely cut about 20 minutes, half an hour off this movie. Like, a lot of the Lucy bits purely because she does man nothing. Some of the like Mina Dracula parts are really long, like, as well. Like, there's a lot in the like mental asylum that I'm like, hombre. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
a lot of the stuff with Enfield, but
a lot of fanning
really,
about. But it does, again, like, I'm not out of the film. I'm just like,
it's just little bits in between. There's no big chunks where you're like, oh fucking hell, just finish.
Exactly. I do think the ending kind of drags on a bit. See when like she's at the fire and the wives. I get it, but
the
also
bit where
she
like, seduces Van Helsing and that, you're like,
oh
right,
come
cool.
on now, we
when
didn't
the brides
that.
come, like, that's, I get you.
But like, there's that's not me being like, and that's why this movie shit. I just mean that like we could have taken off, like, see, even if we took like a minute off of each of those scenes, you could have taken like 20 minutes off this film, and it would have just been like a bit punchier. Do you know what I mean? But again, I'm never bored during this movie, and I'm here for a Campbell time.
He likes a dragged out fucking film, doesn't he?
Fucking loves it, doesn't it?
The fucking Apocalypse Now.
And below 2 hours, he's like, failure, I have failed.
I double this scene.
I fuck's sake, like 90% of Apocalypse Now is just them on a boat.
Yeah. Fucking murder, man.
Yeah, fuck Apocalypse Now. Anyway, thank you so much. This has been our Bram Stoker Dracula episode. We will be back with you next week with no technical difficulties because there are no Dougs to chew our headsets. We've got new shiny headsets and we're good to go. So we'll see you again next week. Just make sure to check us out over at 10 out of 10 with Watch Again on Instagram for any updates and all that good stuff. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
What do you think they make? Blah, blah, blah.